Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lynn, and I'm here to share today on the follow-up to my project for Level 4, Managing Projects Successfully. With this speech, a second speech, I will have completed Level 4 for my track on engaging humor. I gave my first speech in July, and now I'm back 3 months later to give my second speech. And so the purpose of today's speech is to recap my goals on my project and share with you some of the key learnings about project management. It's interesting because this project is really personal for me, but it's really relevant. Some of the things that we do at work for our work projects actually carry over to our personal life as well. And this is some of the key findings that I will share today. The project plan, just briefly, is to find a home for my dad. And my dad is elderly, and I was looking at whether to keep him at home or to move him into assisted living or to move him to nursing homes. For the purpose of this speech, nursing homes and assisted living are synonymous. The budget that he had was between 5 to 15,000 a month, and the key deliverables were identify the options, visit these different options, move in, and adjust as needed. And the milestones were I started this project in May, June, July, August, September, October, and we're sitting in October today, and this will go on probably through the end of this year. The key stakeholders were my dad, obviously, myself, my husband, and my sister. And I have to update this because now there's a caregiver that my dad has hired for him. Her name is Maya. She's from Nepal, and she was hired through an agency in New York. And now she is also a key stakeholder. So the summary of project was to find a place for my dad to live and look at local options. I wasn't looking to move him far away from where I live. Try out these new options, settle in, and assess and reassess. And today I'm at the assess and reassess stage, and I'll explain more about that and I'll also explain some of the key learnings that I had in doing this project. So, what's happened since the first speech? Well, my dad has moved into an assisted living. He has a personal full time caregiver. And it's surprisingly, there is just a ton of drama in this community of elderly seniors. And it's not between these seniors, but it's actually between the caregivers, the owner, and Maya, the personal caregiver that my dad has hired. I mean, there's drama weekly, daily, and monthly. An example of that is he's asked to move out. And that's kind of drama because it's really hard to move an elderly man. And he was asked to move out for a second time 2 weeks ago. So it's like I'm assessing everything again and trying to find new options for him. And then finally, it's just very expensive. Just all these options are very costly around here. And so, what did I learn? What did I learn from the project management standpoint? There's four key things, and I think they apply to all projects, but in particular for this, they're not anything exceptional. I think all projects have all these attributes, and it's good to keep them in mind. One is just be flexible. I didn't expect my dad to be asked to move out again. Um, he was asked to move out the first time, and I moved him immediately back home. But the second time is a little more difficult. You just can't up and move him because he's been in this place for about 3 months now. And so it's really important to be flexible. I didn't take it personally. I told that to the caregiver, Maya. I said, Maya, this is not personal. This is business. For the owner doesn't want my dad. He's been asked to move out because he makes noises at night and it disturbs the other residents. I said, it's not personal. It's just how my dad is, and the owner doesn't like noises at night. So don't take it personally. So always be, my key learning was just be flexible and don't take things too personally. The second is to clarify expectations. And the example for this is related to the third one as well. Ask clarifying questions, ask questions, ask questions, clarify expectations and ask questions. And here it's about what's included and what my dad was paying and not included. So he was asked by the owner to bring a personal caregiver. The owner said, hey, I can't take care of your dad at night. My staff is asleep at night. Please find someone that can be a caregiver for your dad. And I found someone, and my dad likes her, but it turns out that she's doesn't get a place to sleep. She sleeps in a sofa chair, and she's not being fed. Room and board was not included for her, and she's doing extra work for them in the morning to get breakfast and a little bit of lunch, but she's not being fed dinner, and that's what I bring in. I bring in dinner for her, um, and it just was not expected. I thought that since the owner asked to bring my dad a caregiver, I thought room and board would be included for her, and turns out it's not. And that's related to asking questions. I just never thought about that. I just never thought about that. And I guess I should have. I didn't really look at other places, and now that I'm looking around for other places, it's actually clearly stated if you bring a second resident, there's a little extra fee attached onto it, and they can have a bed in the same room, and they can also be fed meals. Some places require a little extra money for each meal. Other places is just included. So I didn't even know to ask these questions. So just ask crazy questions and be okay with that. Be okay to say, you know what, this may be a crazy question, but that's just how it has to be. It's a crazy question. And then finally, it's know your stakeholders. Well, actually, in this particular case, I added a new stakeholder. I knew my dad pretty well, but I did not know any of the caregivers in this facility, this community, and I also did not know Maya. And so I spent time getting to know Maya, um, and she's super sweet, and I'm super sweet to her as well. The caregivers in the facility, I spent a lot of time getting to know them. I mean, there's just like comments like, why are you not bringing us a little extra food? I bring them party trays as kind of an appreciation of this of what they're doing to take care of my dad. But really, I'm not sure why I should bring them, food because they're part of the staff at the place. So I'm just kind of not really. Um, there's just certain things that really surprised me. Here are some questions that I asked myself is just to kind of help guide me through the project. I mean, you can see that some of them are pretty relevant. Like, what do I think are my strongest skill? I would have to say, I don't really know what my strongest skill is, but I can tell you what my weakest skill was that I didn't ask enough questions. That was like really, I did not um, push on the assumptions that I had. I didn't clarify expectations. I did not do that, and I should have done that. I did work on developing rapport. I built relationship with the team. I managed my time pretty efficiently because he moved in on schedule and he's been there 3 months now. Communications is really critical, and just I visit my dad daily, so I always have a pulse on what's going on. And delegation, I really couldn't delegate very much because that's just I was the project lead and I did most of the work. And the value of open-ended questions are really essential. So in reflection, and to summarize, I did okay. Honestly, seniors are not well supported here, and then I'm still assessing future places for my dad to move into. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lynn, for a painfully familiar topic, at least for me. It was good to hear about that and how you fit in project management into that. Some good advice. If we could have a minute for people to give feedback into the ballot form for Lynn.